Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. We record these interviews so potential buyers have more information about the seller and the business to help them make a buying decision. Before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary of the business. It is a subscription box business created in January 2018 in the home niche. The average monthly revenue for the business is $31,168 and makes an average of $7,847 per month in net profit. The assets included in the sale are a domain with site content and files, a Cratejoy site with a 301 redirect, Cratejoy account with a little over 1,000 subscribers, an email list with over 5,000 subscribers, trademark, social media accounts, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, SOPs, and supplier contracts and relationships. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 55993 to learn more about the business, or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So that's a brief overview of the business for sale. Let's hear from the seller with me today. So welcome to the show, Sarah. How are you doing today?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well, and I'm very excited to learn more about you and your business. So, can you tell us a little about your background in building and running online businesses?
Sure. So I'm actually a former teacher. I was a public school teacher. And while I was still teaching, I started selling digital resources online for teachers. I decided I needed a break from teaching. And once I was able to dedicate myself full time to that, I was able to replace and surpass my teaching income pretty quickly. So that was sort of my background that I had with running a business before the subscription box.
Very cool. And I think that answers the question of how you came up with the idea. But did you want to talk a little bit more about that as far as why you specifically went in this direction?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, that makes it pretty clear. But, I was a teacher. I already had this teacher-related business. I had an audience of teachers. I felt, very connected with them and understanding that demographic. And I think what actually gave me the specific idea was that I had a teacher friend who knew someone who ran a more general subscription box. This friend knew I was interested in design and kind of crafty stuff and was like, you should do something like this for teachers. And the idea just kind of got in my head and I ended up just going for it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So it seems like, based on the listing, it seems like things are going well. Why are you deciding to sell the business?
So I honestly have loved running the box for almost 4 years now, but I have a daughter who's going to be almost a year, hope to grow my family further. And I'm just kind of ready to meet my exit and have a little more flexibility in terms of what I do next, whether that's, focusing more on kids or pursuing something else.
Yep, makes sense. I've been hearing that a lot. It's either family or wanting to grow another business. So yeah, that definitely makes sense. Okay, so it looks like this business is about 3 years and 8 months old. So you've had some time to go through paces. What would you say you've learned from this business that just seemed to work?
Well, I was kind of been reflecting on that. I guess something that I've learned is just like making investments in the business early. If that was kind of a mistake I've made was waiting too long, sort of being like, well, is it going to be successful? Even though it clearly was successful. If I were to start another business, that would definitely be something I would do is investing even just stuff like, a thermal printer or a light box for photography. These kind of things that once I did helped a lot. And just having good systems in place.
Got it. So when you investing early, some people that would mean, I guess, going all in, like investing your full attention. Sounds like you mean investing in resources that would make the operation more efficient. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes. Part of me just couldn't sort of believe that it was doing as well as it was doing. Even if it was a couple $100, well, I don't need that. I can make do without it. But, once I bought these things or even, started paying for outside help, things, went a lot more smoothly and I was able to grow more quickly.
Yeah, that's awesome. So was there anything that you tried with this business that didn't work?
Well, to be honest, the first fulfillment center I used once I moved it out of my house, it was still the right choice to move to a fulfillment center. That was totally necessary, but it just wasn't a good fit. The day to day of a subscription box, like I really need to be getting answers quickly and, have good communication. And I just wasn't getting that from them. So that was a really difficult decision to move. Anyone with a product based business, I'm sure knows it's like a huge hassle to switch. But I'm really happy with my new fulfillment center. And that also makes me feel a lot more confident in selling the business, knowing that if they chose to stay with this 3PL, that they'd be in really good hands.
Nice. So you mentioned that this type of business requires some pretty quick responses as far as customer support. At this point in the business, can you describe the amount and the type of work that you do on this business for maintenance?
Sure. So for me, the primary work that I'm doing personally is the curating of the box each month. So I have a specific formula I follow in terms of like how many of what kind of item goes in. And then I also have a theme for each month that I come up with. So that's the main work that I'm doing. I have an assistant who handles most of the customer service on a day-to-day basis. But then of course, sometimes there's questions or situations that, she can't handle and that'll get passed along to me. I'd say the other big thing that I'm still doing myself is the Instagram marketing, which is like our biggest following is there. That's something that definitely could be outsourced, but for the time being, I've been doing that myself.
Got it. So it sounds like there's a lot of your personality that goes into this business as well. What kind of skills would you say a new owner would need in order to be successful with this business?
Well, I will say, I think I have it pretty well set up for someone to come in and take it over. I have these kind of formulas in place. I have everything organized. And the primary job, for someone coming in would be to be doing the box curation. And I think they can look at what I've chosen in the past and use that to help them make decisions. And I also have customer surveys. But I will say having an eye for design and having some kind of connection to this demographic would be helpful.
Yeah, that makes sense. So if you kept the business, what are some ways you would try to grow it further?
So honestly, I probably personally wouldn't try to grow it, which is part of the reason I want to sell because I think there are a lot of opportunities to grow, but I just don't have the additional time or energy to do that right now. In a way, I think having that constraint has made it better for another owner to take over because I've had to really streamline things, having reduced time with having a baby. But if I did, one thing I would consider is paid marketing because that's really something I haven't explored like hardly at all. And, I'd also say like there would be an option for making a smaller version of the crate. Like right now, it's the same box that goes out to everybody. And I think one at a lower price point that there would be maybe kind of a different market for that since cost is a huge concern for my subscribers. I also think there would be like right now, it's pretty specifically geared towards women. I've had a lot of requests for like a gender neutral option or an option for like more educators generally versus specifically teachers. So those would be two avenues that someone could explore.
Yeah, very nice. So those were growth opportunities. What do you think are the biggest risks with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
Well, with any product-based business, supply chain issues are a risk. I actually fared pretty well with my supply chains during the pandemic, but like I remember February 2020, things are like looking a little dicey, because it hit China first. Yeah, I mean, I had some issues there, but we managed to do it. But there definitely can be some last minute pivoting needed. Costs can go up or items can be hard to get. But as I said, that's a risk for any product-based business, but that is something to consider.
Yep, you're right. It is a risk for pretty much every product-based business. Okay, so that leads into the last few questions here. Putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
It's a proven business. It's been profitable, honestly, since the very first month. I remember I had like family and friends ask me, like, oh, do you actually make anything from this? And I was like, yes. From day one, it's been profitable, which is just like a great thing for a subscription box because it gets prepaid. So it's basically paying for itself as it goes on. It's been around for 4 years. It's sustainable. While subscriptions, can go up and down and do slightly month to month, like it's a consistent income stream. With just, if you're just selling one-off products, you don't know how many are going to be, bought the next month, but I can predict that pretty well because it's a subscription. I think the setup of the business, from curation guidelines, I already have a great fulfillment center. There's already a social media audience. Like, it's all already been done for you. So you basically just need to keep it running.
Yep. Very nice. That is definitely a compelling case. I think that pretty much wraps things up. Is there anything you'd like to add that you think I missed during the interview?
I just want to say that whoever takes it over, I really want it to be successful. I'm working right now on like a detailed handbook of everything. I'm willing to provide 60 days email support, and I don't have a problem being contacted beyond that. I've gotten to know some of my subscribers over the years, and I really just want the transition to be as smooth as possible.
That's awesome. So that was actually another question I was going to ask is how much support are you willing to offer buyers?
Yeah, so 60 days email support, 3 hours of Zoom or phone calls. I guess I'm going to have a detailed handbook. And I really don't have a problem, it going beyond that if there's sort of things that come up, because I do truly want it to be successful, because I think it also, it offers a valuable service. And that's part of the reason that, I decided to sell versus just sort of winding it down. I want it to continue. And I hear from my subscribers how much they enjoy it, and I want it to keep going.
Okay, Sarah, I'm aware on the listing there's a disclaimer about having another business in a similar market, but unrelated to this business. So with that said, would you commit to a non-compete?
Yes, like you said, I do have a business that targets the same demographic, but it's a different product, and I don't see that as competing. So that's definitely something I'm willing to discuss with an interested buyer.
Okay, perfect. And are you open to something like an earnout?
Yeah, I'm open to it. I'd prefer upfront, but for the right buyer, as I said, I really want it to be a smooth transition, then yeah, I'd be open to that.
Perfect. Well, I think this is the perfect place to wrap up. Thank you so much, Sarah, for joining us. I do hope you have a quick sale to the right buyer.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 55993. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.